All right. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about Arcadia. I mentioned Arcadia is one of the three sacred, essential, primary human needs that we have as human beings. And the more you study or dive into the pure science of our development as a human species, our psychoneural development, the more you look into what develops our nervous systems, you'll begin to see how these three sacred primary needs are consistent across the board for people to develop. And regarding trauma is something that disrupts or interrupts our development. This is why it's so essential and critical for people to heal, to face their neurotic anxieties and sort out their inner issues in order for them to move forward and develop into their highest potential, into their better versions of themselves. So regarding the trinity of primary human needs, of which I've covered in previous videos, which are Arcadia, attunement, and authenticity, I want to talk a little bit more about Arcadia in this video. And it's regarding an experience I've just recently had. And there is just so much to unpack when it comes to Arcadia, because Arcadia, as I define it, is the cosmic wisdom and intelligence of the cosmos. It's the intelligence that forms and organizes life. So regarding Arcadia, because of the way colonialism and industrialization has panned out over maybe largely throughout modern society, I don't know the exact years of this time period, but a lot of what used to be common knowledge, common ancient wisdom, indigenous wisdom, whether it be the wisdom of the medicinal plants, the wisdom of understanding how the soil impacts our food, impacts our gut, impacts our nervous systems, impacts our mental, emotional health and development, impacts our biochemical reactions. A lot of this has been erased through the more indoctrinated we become as a modern society, the more disconnected we've been programmed generationally to not understand the earth, to not have that same ancient connection to Arcadia, of which is organizing nature, of which has designed our lungs to need plants and trees in symbiotic relationship to function for us to breathe. All of these things regarding Arcadia, there's so much that has been erased and lost with the modern medical industry and big pharma, big food, the modern food system that has been infiltrated with profit over people. A lot of this can stem from this survival complex of people who had power to increase their power over people so that they are safe. But it became at the expense of other people's health and vitality. And all of these corporations regarding our modern health system, our food system, they've been compromised in integrity. We've lost this direct connection to the most essential thing that is needed for us to develop as human beings, to develop fully, to develop authentically, not mutated in a way with sickness, illness, disease, the need for addiction, the need to escape. Arcadia is one of those needs that would have to unpack years and years, generations and generations of propaganda regarding colonialism, regarding industrialization, that have moved us away from our roots, that have pretty much severed us from our connection to the soil, severed us from our connection to ourselves. And Arcadia is so important for our development that we don't even know we need it. Like, most of the modern world doesn't even know that they need living water to function optimally. We've been so conditioned to believe that the municipal water system or purified drinking water in plastic bottles is normal, and water is water, water doesn't make a difference. In actuality, the more you dive in to the mysteries of nature, the intelligence of Arcadia that has designed our bodies, how our bodies are so perfectly designed with this intelligence, that you begin to see how much has been erased by propaganda, by just generations and generations of modern society. But what I wanted to share with you was just a simple instance that I had encountered. I recently had broken out in some kind of rash on my hand. I didn't know what it was, but it did trigger a complex PTSD reaction from the past, where I've suffered from many skin problems in the past. And this, when I look back, I realized was due to a broken down and degraded microbiome. So I've spent years rehabilitating my microbiome, and this circumstance that I've experienced kind of brought up that old memory that was in my body to like worry. And it brought back the memories of even having to take more antibiotics because it got chronically infected. I had a staph infection at one point, which was just like kind of scary for me because it started spreading throughout my body. And when I got this rash, it brought those memories up. It brought the PTSD up. And my initial reaction, of course, was to go to the doctor. But throughout this whole journey of developing Soul Symphonics, I was going to the doctor with a different awareness. I've already proven or disproved many modern medical doctors wrong. Not to say that I am better or anything like that. It's just because I've been tapping into the ancient cosmic wisdom and intelligence of Arcadia that has designed our bodies. And the more I've aligned with this, the more I've rehabilitated, the more I've developed ventral vagal tone in my nervous system, the more clearly I've been able to see, and the more creativity I've been able to access as well. So anyway, I go to the doctor, and I already realized right off the bat that this doctor is malnourished, and she's trained to do what she's trained to do. I realized my main reason and why I do value the modern medical system is for its ability to rule out life-threatening situations for the most part. You know, obviously, they can't catch everything according to the tools that they have and the knowledge that they've been given, but we have quite a bit of amazing modern technology. So I'm not demonizing modern technology. There's a lot of benefits to it, but I'm trying to show you the nuance on where it's helpful and where we have lost our connection to Arcadia. with that, she checked my skin, and I was hoping that they would do like a culture to see what kind of bacteria might be growing on the rash, because it started to blister and open up, and I was freaking out inside. So I wanted to make sure, okay, this better not be staph growing in me again, because I do not want to take another round of antibiotics, especially after rehabilitating my nervous system and my gut for so long. But luckily, I was able to find the calm in me. I realized how far I've come, how much of Arcadia's intelligence I've actually been able to tap into and understand. And the doctor had recommended a steroid cream. Now, from my own research, I learned that steroid cream suppresses the immune system, but will get rid of the inflammation. So it'll make the symptoms go away of the rash. It'll make the rash look like it goes down and goes away. However, with that being said, knowing that modern hack of modern medicine, it doesn't get to the root of the issue. It doesn't fight the infection. And through my journey of rehabilitating my gut, my microbiome, my immune system, ultimately throughout all of this, especially tapping into greater bandwidths of ventral vagal tone, I've realized that's actually the core of what's going to really help me heal and regenerate. That's what Soul Symphonics is all about. It's the principles behind this that guide the nurturing of our body to regenerate. And so she looked at it. I realized that there wasn't anything life-threatening about it at the moment. I just needed to monitor it to make sure it doesn't get worse. But something in me, my own soul, my own gut intuition, especially the more I've connected with this intelligence of Arcadia, I realized that no, I've been on to something extremely valuable regarding these trinity of primary human needs, and particularly Arcadia. And there's so much programming, generational programming, societal programming, that would influence me to listen to this doctor that clearly doesn't understand immune system function, doesn't understand nervous system function, or the microbiome of the skin, microbiome health, as I dive a lot into Soul Symphonics to explain. So regarding her advice, I kind of already assumed that's what they were going to do. They were either just going to give me something that suppresses the symptoms, a topical steroid cream, or perhaps maybe an antibiotic orally. Both of which I didn't want to do, but I really wanted to just rule out something life-threatening. I just wanted to know for peace of mind this is not staph. That's all I wanted to really know, and that she couldn't even tell me. Anyway, I go back home and I really started thinking about this, and through my whole journey with the GAPS diet and studying Dr. Natasha McBride. See, the thing is, the things that I'm teaching about Soul Symphonics regarding the nervous system, the immune system, they are still based on research and clinical practice and results in healing by doctors. They're just outlier doctors that are not trained within the modern medical system. And if they have, they've broken free from the dogma of the modern medical system to see the human being as a multitude of ecosystems that need to be addressed holistically. For example, like Dr. Zach Bush, I learned a lot about microbiome regarding Dr. Zach Bush. It was through Dr. Zach Bush how I realized how severe antibiotics can be to damaging the microbiome in our guts, creating leaky gut and creating a whole cascade of problems. Anyway, I went back into my archives, to my library, and I went back into Dr. Natasha McBride's book, Gut and Physiology Syndrome, and I reviewed her section on eczema because it's regarding skin rash, skin irritation. And I wanted to just remember how she approached, I guess, acute irritation of the skin, whether it was something like eczema. So I actually approached this rash the same way Dr. Natasha McBride approaches eczema. And she has a very Arcadian approach to health. She's all about embracing the wisdom and intelligence of Arcadia within our bodies and within nature. And that's how she's been healing so many people, just by getting back in alignment with the principles of the cosmos that have designed us and have designed nature. And what she suggests for soothing of this rash was soaking in clean water, purified water at least, with a little bit of baking soda. So I started doing that. I did that first. And then intuitively, I just decided to also spray magnesium topical chloride spray on it. Let that soak in, let the magnesium soak in for about 5 minutes, and I rinse it off. And then Dr. Natasha McBride also recommends how the only thing that we should be putting on our skin to moisturize are things that we can actually eat edibly, that are safe to eat. And one of the most important, or I guess powerful, things we could use to put on our skin that really heals the skin was tallow. She recommended tallow, so I started putting tallow on my skin. And then with that, I've been locking in with the basic principles of resting, not stressing myself out with working extra or with any kind of stressful relationships. I took it easy, ate really good food. I ate some homemade stews with some good broth and collagen in it. So I was nourishing my body, nourishing my immune system. I was doing all the little things, not indulging in too much sugar or carbohydrates, and really taking on this anti-inflammatory approach to my whole body and being. And little do you know, my body started healing it naturally. I didn't use the steroid cream. I didn't follow the modern medical doctor's orders. However, I did take the advice of Dr. Natasha McBride, who is more aligned with Arcadian principles and laws. And it's been amazing. And I realized right then and there that I have been doing the right thing. I've been listening to my body. I just was speaking to my body out loud, talking to my nervous system, talking to my immune system with just love, respect, care, not the worry, not the pessimistic view. Because words are vibrations, and it still falls in line with that Hermetic metaphysical principle, as above, so below, the law and principle of vibration and frequency. So I started speaking to my nervous system and my immune system with encouragement, just saying, we can fucking fight this shit. We can take this stupid infection out. We don't need steroid creams. We don't need to suppress and give us the illusion of getting rid of the symptom, but not targeting the root of this. And I just followed the basic principles of eating good, sleeping good, engaging in play, not stressing myself out with work, I've already cut out all the toxic relationships, so that's already a plus. It has been a plus, which I would say a lot of people don't realize how much that affects the stress levels. And if you dive into the work or the field of psychoneuroendocrinology, you can see the harmful, detrimental effects on stressful relationships, emotional stress, and how that hinders the development of our nervous system. So when our nervous system is able to feel relaxed and safe in that ventral vagal tone, it allows the whole body to regulate. It allows everything to function properly. It allows our body to regenerate. And so this whole idea about Arcadia, what people need to realize is how many generations and generations of this cosmic wisdom and intelligence that is organizing. It's trying to organize the human body. It's already organizing nature. However, human beings, we've come to a place where we have a choice now. Ever since we started becoming more technologically advanced, we've put ourselves in a place where now we're not so aligned with nature as we were before all our technological advancements. Before our growing technological advancements, we were more in harmony and alignment with nature and the cosmic cycles, laws, principles of Arcadia. But the more technologically advanced we become and the more that takes over modern society, especially when we have dark triads, which is a whole nother story, dark triads that are ruling the modern world, where it's primarily profit over people, it becomes a choice for us to evolve and align with these Arcadian principles that organize our life. The same with our ability to start working and living in symbiosis with nature, with Arcadia in nature. So, as much as I wish we could grasp how powerful this intelligence that is permeating our trillions of cells and our trillions of microorganisms that make up our being, our physical vessel, there is just so much that needs to be restored and recovered and reclaimed regarding the ancient wisdom of Arcadia. And this is just one simple example. There are so many examples, and I will share more and more of this, but this is just one simple example. We could go into the whole realm of how we've been misconceived and misled to understand fats, cholesterols, red meat. It goes on and on. Our misunderstanding of the importance of vegetables and fiber and the nuances regarding our gut state, our microbiome balance. There's so much nuance, but we've just come to this time where it's up to us to dive in and do the research and begin discovering for ourselves. Again, don't just take my word for it. Take this as permission for you to go and explore this for yourself. And I want to also explain the difference in science, because everyone is saying the science says this, the science says that. Well, the caveat about science is science used to be a very methodical, pure approach to discovering the truth. But science has been used by these corrupt corporations and dark triads in power to manipulate their experiments so it favors the product that they're trying to push, because it's all about profit. So there is pure science, and then there's profit-driven science. There's pure science, and there's profit-driven science. So one of the best things to do is you want to, if you're going to go down the road of studying science, you want to look at meta-analysis where there's lots of independent studies, a lot of different reviews and studies. And you have to, it's come down to the point where now we have to trace certain scientific literature's roots and where it comes from. A lot of the times there's so much contradiction in science now because a lot of it is paid for and funded by corporations that are trying to push their product and use their science to push their product, which is sad. So I just want you to understand this nuance. This is the world we're in, and this is what discernment is all about. Discerning the little nuances and details between all of this, because context matters. Again, I'm not saying or demonizing all of modern society or our technological advances. Like I said, there's beauty in this technology if we use it in the right way, if we're approaching it in the right way, and we're not dismissing our Arcadian cosmic wisdom and intelligence that is ancient, that has been constant throughout the test of time, through millions of years of our evolution. I just want to share that about Arcadia today, and I will be sharing more about Arcadia because there's just so much to unpack. There's a lot of propaganda to get straight with people, and I realize also bringing up propaganda for people who have built their lives, their entire life structure on what could be seen as a lie is very destabilizing for people. So I also understand why people react the way they react when they are approached with propaganda. And there's just so much more to it regarding our mental terrain and how it is completely dependent on our emotional terrain. And when we discover that we may have been living a lie, we've been developing our life, building a life upon lies that we've been lied to, it's destabilizing, and it brings up a lot of suppressed emotion, which automatically shuts down people's ventral vagal pathway to regulate themselves. It shuts down their prefrontal cortex from creatively, critically thinking. So I get it. Again, I'm not saying this is a belief system. I'm just giving you permission to explore and be curious about the cosmic wisdom and intelligence that God put in us all and in nature, that is trying to organize our life so we can regenerate. And ultimately, you need to know that we've come to a place in human evolution, or if you believe in evolution, in our human development as a species, that it's our choice to align to Arcadian principles, rhythms, laws, cycles. So I hope that wasn't too much for you, and if it was, you'll get over it. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Peace.